You know that feeling? Just drained. Drained by the constant pings, the endless notifications, the infinite scroll. Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly why our devices make us feel so overwhelmed. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to get out of that cycle of digital anxiety and actually take back our focus. Let's dive in.
I mean, really, have you ever felt like your phone is the one in charge? That automatic reach for it in your pocket? That feeling that you're just a passenger? If that sounds familiar, you are absolutely in the right place. And trust me, you are not the only one who feels this way.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack the digital dilemma. Then we'll get real about the hidden costs. After that, we'll look at the digital detox as a way out, arm you with some practical strategies for a reset, and finally, we'll talk about making those good habits stick.
All right, let's start at the beginning. Part 1, the digital dilemma. Why do we feel so completely overwhelmed by all this tech? Well, there's a name for it. Cognitive overload. Think of your brain like a computer with a limited amount of RAM. Research from Red Fame Publishing, which builds on something called cognitive load theory, basically shows that when we're just bombarded with notifications and emails and everything else, our brain's processing power gets totally maxed out. Now that might sound a little academic, but the feeling is incredibly real. I mean, listen to this quote from a research participant. They said their mind was under constant clutter, like it never got a moment of silence. It's that feeling of being mentally full, with absolutely no room left to just think. And in the workplace, this overload gets another name: cognitive scarcity. Harvard Pilgrim describes this as what happens when our always-on work culture doesn't just distract us. It actually starts to wear down our ability to think clearly and solve problems effectively. Okay, so what's the real-world damage from all this? That brings us right to Section 2, the hidden costs. Because being plugged in 24/7, well, it comes with a pretty steep price for our well-being. Just to give you a sense of the scale here, get this. According to J Medical Systems, the average American spends over 7 hours a day staring at a screen. 7 hours. That's more than a lot of people sleep. Let that sink in for a second. And all that time online really takes a toll. Mentally, we're talking about more stress, more anxiety, and an attention span that's just shattered. And physically, it shows up as terrible sleep, constant eye strain, and even chronic neck and back pain from being hunched over our phones and laptops. Let's talk about sleep for a minute. The science on this is crystal clear. As experts at Harvard Medical School explain, the blue light from our screens literally stops our brain from releasing melatonin. That's the hormone that tells your body, hey, it's time to sleep. So it's no wonder it's so hard to power down at night. Okay, that's enough of the bad news. Let's switch gears and talk about what we can do about it. Welcome to Section 3, the digital detox solution. This is our path to getting some much-needed relief. So what even is a digital detox? The Red Fame study puts it really nicely. It's a voluntary and temporary break from our devices. The key words there are voluntary and temporary. This isn't about moving to a cabin in the woods forever. It's about making a conscious choice to hit the reset button. And the payoffs? They can happen almost right away. People report this huge boost in creativity and productivity. They sleep better, they have stronger real-life conversations, and they feel a major drop in stress and anxiety. You basically get your own brain back. Of course, there's always that one big thing that holds us back, right? That little voice in your head, FOMO, the fear of missing out on something crucial if you dare to unplug. So, how do we deal with that? We have to reframe it. That initial weirdness, that twitchy urge to check your phone, maybe feeling a little irritable. That's not a bad sign. That's the feeling of you breaking a habit. It's the bridge you have to cross to get to all those long-term benefits, and honestly, a real sense of being back in control. Which brings us to the most practical part of all this. Section 4, strategies for a reset. Let's start building your personal digital detox toolkit. And the first step isn't about having superhuman willpower. It's about being smart. You have to set up your physical and digital spaces to make this whole thing easier on yourself. A great place to start is creating screen-free zones. Make the bedroom a no-phone zone and get your sleep back. Next, silence the noise. Go into your settings and turn off every single notification that isn't absolutely essential. Then, manage the light. Use blue light filters on your devices at night. And hey, a tidy desk really does lead to a tidier mind. So, once your environment is working for you instead of against you, it's time to dial in on some of your personal habits. Here are 2 super simple but seriously powerful techniques. First, the Pomodoro technique. You work, focused for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. It's amazing for training your attention span. Then there's the 20-20-20 rule to fight eye strain. Every 20 minutes, just look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Easy, right?
And here's the fun part. The trick is to replace screen time, not just remove it. What are you going to do with all this time you've clawed back? Read an actual physical book. Go for a walk. Cook something amazing. Or just have a real, uninterrupted conversation with someone you care about.
And that leads us to our final section, beyond the detox. Because the whole point of this isn't just a quick fix. It's about building healthier, more intentional habits that are actually going to last.
I mean, just look at the transformation we're talking about here. You go from cognitive overload to real mental clarity, from feeling anxious and stressed all the time to being more present and calm, from feeling kind of disconnected to having deeper, more meaningful connections. It's a huge shift.
So the toolkit is officially yours. And that leaves us with just one last really important question. With all of this reclaimed time and focus, what are you going to build? What will you create or learn or experience? The possibilities, as you're about to find out, are pretty much endless.